When fans think of the greatest era of pitching in baseball history, maybe they think of Bob Gibson, Denny McLain, and Sandy Koufax, or even Cy Young himself. But they would be incorrect. While every era has their own handful of all-time greats, the era of Greg Maddux, Pedro Martinez, the big unit Randy Johnson, the Rocket Roger Clemens, and plenty of others, makes this group the greatest generation of pitchers ever. Let's start with Roger Clemens.
Roger Clemens pitches the best game you've ever seen pitched.
The Rocket has won the most Cy Young awards ever, with 7, including 1 at age 23 and 1 at age 41, and is one of 4 pitchers ever to win back-to-back Triple Crowns. Not only that, but he led the league in WAR 7 different times. He also led the league in wins 4 different times. The accolades continue as he racked up 7 ERA titles. Oh, and not to mention an MVP.
A new record! Clemens has set a major league record for strikeouts in a game.
Now how about Greg Maddux, the man who made pitching a science?
And folks, you just saw a great pitching performance.
When it comes to Cy Young awards, he's tied for the 3rd most all-time, and only one of 2 pitchers ever to win 4 Cy Young awards. Over that 4-season span, Maddux's ERA was a pristine 1.98. Keep in mind, this is during an era where the league average ERA was well over 4. He was literally twice as good. And not to mention the most decorated pitcher in terms of Gold Gloves ever, with 18, the record for any position. Insane.
Has a shot as Pat Howell puts the ball. What a play by Maddux! Outstanding play by Greg Maddux.
Let's talk about the big unit, Randy Johnson.
The 1-2 pitch. Kay inserted. It's over right over the heart of the plate. Randy looks to the skies.
Towering over batters at 6'10", Randy Johnson was a terror to face by opposing teams, and sometimes birds. As mentioned earlier, Randy Johnson and Greg Maddux are the only pitchers to have ever won 4 straight Cy Youngs. During that 4-season run, Johnson averaged 258 innings pitched per season, with a 2.48 ERA and a stunning 354 strikeouts per year. He's second all-time in strikeouts and has collected 4 ERA titles of his own. He is maybe the greatest southpaw of all time.
He got it. A perfect game.
When you think of a Boston Red Sox ace, you think Pedro Martinez.
2-strike pitch to Delgado. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. 300 strikeouts for Pedro Martinez.
In my opinion, the most dominant I have ever seen a pitcher over a multi-season or single-season stretch in my entire life. Now, he has quite the list of accolades, too. Pedro is tied for the 5th most Cy Youngs with 3, while also touting 5 ERA titles and a pitching Triple Crown. Just nasty. He also authored what is widely considered to be the best 2-year stretch of pitching across the 99 to 2000 seasons, where he went a combined 41-10, rocked an incredible 1.90 ERA, and tallied up 597 strikeouts to 69 walks in 430 and a third innings pitched. Not to mention, he had one of the greatest all-star performances ever in 1999, striking out 5 of the first 6 batters at Fenway Park.
Bagwell, runner goes, swing and a miss, struck him out, thrown down. Williams is gone, strike him out, throw him out, double play.
So yes, those are the pitchers that are driving this conversation. But just as important to the argument that this is and was the greatest generation of pitchers ever, insane depth of greatness that existed as well. Names like Tom Glavine, Mike Mussina, Curt Schilling, John Smoltz, Mariano Rivera. The loaded Braves rotation included lefty Tom Glavine, who for my money might be one of the more irritating pitchers ever because it was never quite clear why he was as good as he was. But he was not only one of 11 pitchers ever to win 2 Cy Young Awards, but he also finished in the top 3 4 other times. Glavine's average season included a 3.15 ERA and 225 innings pitched. He led the league in wins 5 times. The Moose, who for a while was as famous for what he never did, win 20 games, as what he did do, which was be a dominant pitcher for a long time. Mike Mussina's career was not sufficiently appreciated at the time, even though he finished in the top 6 of the Cy Young voting in 9 separate seasons, while registering more career wins than Bob Gibson, more innings pitched than Juan Marichal, and a better adjusted ERA than Bob Feller. He had 10 seasons where he made at least 29 starts and featured an ERA plus of 130 or better. That is tied for the 5th most such seasons in MLB history, and more than such luminaries as Randy Johnson, Justin Verlander, Jim Palmer, Tom Seaver, and Lefty Grove. Curt Schilling, one of the greatest big game pitchers ever. For God's sake, the guy has the same career adjusted ERA as Tom Seaver. Schilling may never have won a Cy Young, but he has more Cy Young Award vote shares than multiple Hall of Famers who did win the award, including Warren Spahn, Fergie Jenkins, and Dennis Eckersley. Over a 9-season stretch from 1996 to 2004, Schilling averaged a 3.23 ERA and 141 ERA plus in 223 innings pitched per season. The 1996 Cy Young winner, John Smoltz, much better as a pitcher than a broadcaster. Not only did he thrive as a starter, but this was a guy who saved 144 games across a 3-season stretch a decade later. Smoltz averaged a 3.33 ERA and 222 innings pitched per season from 1989 to 1997, and at different points in his career, led the league in wins, innings pitched, strikeouts, and saves. The greatest closer ever, Mariano Rivera. Do I need to explain further? I will. He's the all-time leader in saves, the greatest pitcher ever by ERA+, the most dominant per-inning pitcher in MLB history. Rivera finished his career with a ERA of 2.21 in more than 1,200 innings pitched, which works out to an adjusted ERA of 2.05. In other words, for his entire career, his ERA was less than half the league average. Okay, so we've run through a lot of stats that focus on either career value or individual season greatness. Those are important, maybe the most important. But what about multi-year peak stretches? Maybe this era we've been touting falls short from that perspective? Not so. In MLB history, there have been 9 instances of a pitcher putting up a 200 or better ERA plus over a 4-year stretch. 6 of those 9 instances are by Pedro Martinez or Greg Maddux. That's it. No other pitchers from any other era of pitching other than Walter Johnson. Truly, insanely dominant pitching, bulk and quality of the highest order. Okay, but what about the postseason, you might ask? Stop it. You're embarrassing yourself. The all-time leaders in postseason win probability added are all from this era. And the names we've discussed, those guys combined for 20 World Series rings, 4 League Championship Series MVPs, and 4 World Series MVPs. They've simply got it all. Maybe the steroid era will always be known for home runs and hulking sluggers. But what we should spend just as much time remembering, if not more, is just how great a pitcher would have had to have been in this era to not only succeed, but to utterly dominate like these guys did. The era of Maddux and Unit, Pedro and Rocket, Moose and Schill and Smoltz and Glavine and Moe and the rest was simply the greatest generation of pitchers the sport has ever seen.